and to walk in him. And guess what? He's going to perform this word. He spake unto my father David.
Amen.
All that stuff, he spake, I'm going to build this work. If I just do what he says, he's going to let me build this work. Look, it's God's house.
Amen.
It's God's temple.
That's right.
But guess what? They still call it Solomon's. Why? God doesn't care. Give him a little praise.
Amen.
Give him a little praise. As long as Solomon ain't the one going, yeah, I built it. That's the thing. I want you to understand something. You guys, from my standard, you guys are good Christians. You guys are the best of this place. This is it. You're the best of this place. I don't care how much these guys, anybody else knows and has all this knowledge, they can't even come close to you guys being spiritual. I know. I'm the pastor. And I want to tell you this just like this. Just like this. God's working with you. God's working with you too. And God actually likes you. He likes you. He hangs with you. He's with you. You're always there. Okay? And it's just like this. So, what's that? So, you're an if and then. But guess what? I want you to understand something here. It's not about you.
It's all about
And God made you the good Christian that you are. It was God that did that. He had the plan, and all you did was say, I'm going to read this book, I'm going to look at this book, and God, you've got to do something with me.
Amen.
That is the prayer that you have to have with the Lord. I'm preaching to myself. Lord, can you use me? Use me.
Amen. Amen.
Verse number 15. And he built the walls of the house. He built the walls of the house within with boards of cedar. What's that? Hardwood. The walls. Look, people, the walls of the hardwood. He's got hardwood on the walls. Both the floor of the house and the walls of the ceiling, and he covered them on the inside with wood, and covered the floor of the house with planks of fir. You know what planks of fir are? Softwood. Fir is softwood, hardwood. You'd think it would be different. You'd think the hardwood would be on the floor to hold people up. I want to be held up. But God says, look, I do it differently. I want the walls to be hard. I want the floor to be soft. What do you mean? I want you preachers to preach, right? And I got the house. It's a hard thing. It's hard. And I'm going to keep them in. It's hard wood. But I want you to do it on the soft floor, preachers. What's that? I want you to have delicate hands when you handle my people.
Amen.
I only learned that this year. After watching them all leave, I finally learned I got to have soft hands in dealing with the people. Long suffering in dealing with the people. It made me think, you remember that show Kung Fu with David Carradine? He walks across the rice paper and it's soft, and he says when you can walk across that, you know, he'd accomplished something, and it can break and it's very soft, and he walks across it. It's soft wood. Because you gotta handle them, to hold them up with soft hands that are there. You gotta understand something. It's got a stone foundation, people. That's the Lord. And that stone, but what they're gonna stand on, it's gonna be firm. It's gonna be soft, what they stand on. You gotta be gentle with them. You gotta be gentle with my sheep. He doesn't want you to go around smacking them all the time. Every once in a while, they're going to need it. But what's that, twice a year? Just keep feeding them the Word. Feed them the Word. Let that smack them around for a while. You know what? The best preaching I do is when I just say, here's the Word of God. Let it do something for you.
Amen.
I just thought about something. Go to Mark chapter 8. He said, I want it made, I want the cedar, and I want the fir, I want the cedar, and I want the fir. The walls of cedar, the fir for the flooring there, I want that. The floor and the planks of fir, that softwood. Go to Mark chapter 8. You remember he spit in that guy's face?
Yes.
Okay, it says in verse number 22, it says, and he cometh to Bethsaida, and he bring him a blind man, and said, and besought him to touch him. And he took the blind man by the hand, and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes, and put his hands upon him, he asked him if he saw aught. And he looked up, and he said, I see men as trees walking. I want the walls made out of trees that are hard. I want the planks of the floor made out of trees that are soft. The hard guys bring them in. The soft guys got to pass them. I see men as trees. He said, I see men as trees. Now I understand that when it's talking about that, it's talking about they see men as big things and big objects. But it's just odd how he brings it to trees right there. He brings it to trees right there. And he says, and he built it, and he built 20 cubits in verse 16. He built 20 cubits on the sides of the house, both the floors and the walls with boards of cedar. And he even built them for it within, even for the oracle, even for the most holy place, even for that, which went back to verse 5 with this oracle. You see, it all starts to wrap up. That whole reason of the whole temple. God wants to dwell with men. He wants a permanent dwelling. And he wants to make sure he says something. What's that? It's mine. And you didn't build it. I gave David the plan. And guess what? I got you everything because David provided all the substance for it and everybody else gave it in. You know what? All you're doing is under your leadership and it's being done. And guess what? There's nobody going to tell me, well, I'm going to make that stuff outside and do them stones and they're going to be perfect. I'll bring them in. There has to be an eye of God in there. The hand of God actually has to be on those guys that are cutting stone. Because God's building this thing. And He's going to make sure. And when He's doing it, there's a purpose for it all. Hard trees, soft planks, hard trees, soft trees. And God has a way. God doesn't, look, God will take care of His people. And when His people are all messed up, God will be the hand that comes in.
Amen.
You see, I got to show it like this. I'm a Bible believer. In fact, I'm a born-again Christian. But I pastor a Baptist church. Are you a Baptist? No, I'm not a Baptist. I'm a born-again Christian. I pastor a Baptist church. It has a Baptist doctrine. Oh, so you're a Baptist? No, I'm a born-again Christian. Didn't you hear me the first time? I'm a born-again Christian. Yes, I pastor a Baptist church, and this is a Baptist church, but everybody in it is a born-again Christian. Because you can't get in the church unless you're born again.
Right.
You see? You understand what I'm talking about with this temple and everything? Has the temple looked different to you since you walked through the door? It sure has for me since I started studying it.
Amen.
I'm excited for the things the Lord has. I'm excited for the tenderness that He's been giving me. I'm excited that the Lord is opening our knowledge, but yet He's giving us wisdom with it. And now we're starting to get an understanding, because that's the great gift, is the understanding of how the wisdom is being used.
Right.
And why you're doing it. And you start to see Jesus in it. Who would have thought the earth is His footstool, and he's a little guy on the earth and he's standing on it. It's His footstool, He's stepping on it. God didn't care about that big ball as much as He cared about that little man that was on it, that was Christ. That was the most important thing.
Amen.
You You know what the most important verse in here is? And the word of the Lord came.
Amen.
And the word of the Lord came. There's the verse that splits it all up, and it's not even evenly for the whole chapter, and that's the word of the Lord came. And if you'll do this, then you'll get more of it. And if you'll do this and finish it, you'll get more of it. It's good to finish stuff. When the Lord gives you something, finish it. Did he give you that book?
Yeah, you did.
Finish it. Read it and finish it. Don't go reading a commentary before you finish the book. Read the book and finish it. There's where you need to be. Get your nose in the book. It's good to be saved. It's good that the Lord spoke to us today. Did you get spoken to?
Okay.
I sure did. Amen.
Okay.
Let's pray. Father, thank you, Lord God, for this time. Thank you for the Word of God. Thank you, Lord Father, for speaking to us today, Lord God. We thank thee. Thank you, Lord, for speaking to us. Thank you, Father, that you spoke to us today in this chapter, Lord Father. 16 verses, and you opened it up, Lord Father, and I thank you for it. I thank you for even the numbers. I thank you, Lord God, that you teach us these things, Lord Father. Thank you for the people that show up. How, Lord God, when it's short, when it's small, oh boy, there's a blessing. Lord, let us not be like Thomas. It says that Thomas wasn't there the first time when the Lord showed up. What was he was absent? What did he do? He missed the blessing. Why? The Lord breathed on him. He didn't get it. Father, I want your breath. Father, I want your breath upon me with this book. I want your breath upon me with these words, Father. Father, help me. Help me to be a better person tomorrow than I am today. Help me through thy word, Lord God. Mold me. Thou art the potter and I'm the clay, Lord Father. And I want to thank you, Lord God, for showing us these things, Father. Thou art great. And we want to thank you for it in thy holiness, thou art. Thou art the one. And we love you, Lord. In Jesus' name, bless us. Amen.